Hey, what's up guys? Hope you like this video. We visited maybe 6 months ago when it was winter and all the foliage had died down. The first structure we came across by the pond was actually a water treatment plant for the town of Bemis. We didn't know that until some guys started commenting on the original video, and I thought, that makes a lot of sense. On the other side of the pond, there are some big, huge radiators. Looked like it was cooling for water intakes probably. But you see part of that also in this video where I climb up the ladder. Those were cooling radiators inside it. At least that's what it appears to be. By the time this place came across my radar, it had already been removed. Ken Heron did a video, and he's most famous for drone stuff. He's actually pretty close to where we are. He did a video, I believe, in 2014, and I believe that's when they started disassembling the town or the cotton mill of Bemis. It was amazing just how incredibly large and the commerce and the history around this place. And we got to it late. There was really nothing left at all. And we were able to get to pretty much the same things you see on the first time as the second time. We just went back when the season was different and we had some lights with us is really the difference. And we wanted to put the history together for you guys to take a look. So here's what we came up with. In 1900, the community of Bemis and the Jackson Fiber Company, which was later to be called Bemis Cotton Mill, were born of the efforts of Judson Moss Bemis and the company he had founded in 1858, now known as Bemis Brothers Bag Company. Realizing his company's bag factories must have dependable supply of high-quality cotton bags, Mr. Bemis decided to build a cotton mill near the cotton fields near a good railroad center, assuring excellent transportation service, and among people who would make dependable and efficient employees. The site that became Bemis offered all three of these fundamental requisites. Built on the original 300-acre site donated by forward-thinking citizens of Jackson and Madison County, the first mill of 21,000 spindle capacity was erected in 1900. Actual production started the year following. J.B. Young was the first resident manager at Bemis. Under his able direction, the mill prospered, and the community was transformed from a few scattered cabins, gullies, and worn-out cotton fields to the wide, tree-lined streets, beautiful homes, and well-kept lawns one sees today. Mr. Young died in 1928, but the memory of his countless contributions to Bemis and its people will live forever. He was succeeded by his son, Fred J. Young, who himself is celebrating the 50th anniversary of his association with the company of Bemis. The happiness and satisfaction of those who were to call Bemis home were of prime importance in all the company's planning. Both Mr. Bemis and Young were determined that those who lived in Bemis and who made the mill's operation possible should be satisfied not only with their working environment, but with their surrounding and living conditions as well. From the beginning, the future attractiveness of Bemis as a good place to live was carefully planned. There was no paved roads between Bemis and Jackson, and the less than 100-mile trip to Memphis was a major undertaking. Demand for high-quality cotton being produced made it necessary to double the capacity of the mill in 1905, which meant a corresponding increase in the number of employees needed. Steady employment, good working condition, and a progressive community life attracted high-caliber people to Bemis, and they developed a unity of purpose. Judson Moss Bemis was succeeded in 1909 by his son, Albert Farwell Bemis. Albert was the mind behind the plan to build a model mill town. As a recent graduate of MIT with a degree in civil engineering, he was familiar with the latest controversies regarding industrial towns and with the latest innovation in building technology. He enlisted the help of former classmates and friends with MIT connections to assist in the engineering projects related to Bemis. The renowned architects Andrew Hepburn and Arthur Shercliffe were involved in the development of Bemis years before the famous collaboration in the restoration of colonial Williamsburg. In 1913, an explosion occurred in the power plant, injuring several, two fatally and causing considerable property damage. Repairs were made immediately and operation resumed within 2 weeks. This remains the only major disaster in the history of the town. The 1920s marked an era of development. Addition of a second shift became necessary, providing many jobs in the mill and adding to the growing prosperity of the town and its people. So while this place is pretty cool, it doesn't go anywhere. They've demolished all of it, and what's left here is locked up and being used for businesses or storage. This side it used to be part of, I think, a water treatment plant, evaporative cooling plant perhaps. That's what I've heard, but it doesn't really go anywhere. This is about all there is to it. As the Bemis family grew, the spirit of the town became stronger. It became imperative to provide more homes. An addition of 350 acres were purchased to allow room for further expansion. 54 family units were built in East Bemis. Again, in 1926, more new homes were erected, this time in the area of West Bemis known as Newtown, to accommodate an additional 84 families. The auditorium, with a seating capacity of 850, was also built during this period to provide a place for school activities and other community meetings and entertainment featuring motion pictures. More production in the mill resulted from utilization of various mechanical improvements. The 40-hour work week became a reality. In 1940, the new gymnasium building was erected. This completely modern structure houses a large gymnasium, seating nearly 1,000, suitable for basketball and other community activities. After World War II, American production remained at full speed. The third shift, added during the war, was made permanent in the mill to meet the demand of Bemis cotton goods, assuring additional jobs and continuing the town's growth. Since World War II, Bemis has enjoyed prosperous times, and the hum of the mill's operation has been constant. Around 1965, the Bemis Company began a process of selling off the company town. Workers were given the opportunity to purchase houses with company financing. By the end of the decade, most of the houses had been sold. In 1977, Bemis was annexed by the city of Jackson. Bemis lost its status as a postal city, but the post office continued to operate. The Bemis Company sold the mills in 1980. The new owner operated them until 1991. In 1991, the year that the mills closed, Bemis was listed on the National Register of Historic Places as the Bemis Historic District. The listing included 450 acres and 511 buildings, 3 contributing sites, 8 contributing structures, and 1 contributing object. Building of particular interest in the historic district included the Cotton Mill Building, the auditorium, which now houses the Bemis Museum, and the Bemis United Methodist Church. In 2014, the city of Jackson announced plans to tear down the Bemis Mill and create a memorial park on the site where it stood. Though the mill was not part of the local historic district, so was not protected by the historic district regulations against demolition of historic properties. Neat place. The park is pretty lacking. The museum, I would love to go in there and talk to a couple of the historians. There is a big, huge piece of cast iron that's curved that says Bemis. That is the torch cut off of the water tower. I don't know if they did that after it dropped or before. I would be curious to know that as well. Very, very industrial. There is more of the structure that you didn't see. It does seem to be being used for warehousing. There are train tracks still in place. The bridges have just been cut off and kind of terminate. Would have loved to have seen it back when it was still standing. Like I said, we found it late. Hope you enjoyed it. There wasn't a lot to see by the time we got to it, and we will see you on the next one. If you guys like this type of video, let us know, and we will continue to do some of these.
I'm talking about realest, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE, got the tools to survive.